Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Living, Loving, and Learning Together. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Crystal, a homeschooling mom of 3 girls ages 8 months, 4 years, and 7 years. And here on my channel, I'll be sharing mostly things related to mom life and homeschooling. For the last 3 years, we've been homeschooling with Classical Conversations, where I've also been a tutor for all of those 3 years. We are just about wrapping up our CC year, CC for Classical Conversations, and I thought it would be helpful to share some of the ways that we do wrapping up each quarter for CC, including how we wrap up the end of the year. So whether you are in your home doing CC or part of the community, I hope that you take away some helpful thoughts or new ideas and tips to add to your homeschooling tool belt. Here we go. Today, I'll be sharing our top 10-11 review games that we can use after every quarter. Our favorite ones to do for end of year, since we have so many weeks of information to cover, as well as some fun ideas for end of year. So sometimes our review is as simple as just whatever we're doing in the day, I just start singing one of the songs that we learned in CC. I'll just start the beginning of the song and our kids will jump right in and want to take over the singing. So that's one fun, easy way, just to sing the songs as you learn them in class. The second thing that we like to do for review is a pop quiz challenge. I'll take a ball and pass it to her. So when you have the ball, it's your turn to answer. And then we just turn to our foundations guide. In the back of every cycle, it actually has summary proof sheets. And basically what that is a section that outlines everything that they've learned for all 24 weeks, and it includes check boxes next to it so that you can go down the line per subject and check off what you know or what you've covered in that review. So I'll say, tell me about Columbus. And then she has the ball. She's got to tell me this about Columbus, and she'll start singing the song to me. Then she gets to quiz me back. So she'll pass me the ball and ask me whichever one of those questions off of the proof sheet that she wants to do. I think this is a great tool to use these proof sheets, whether you're memory mastering or not, because it does make sure that you're covering all of the information that was learned for that year or for that 6-week stint whenever you're doing this type of review. So we do that for most of the subjects. The only ones we change and do a different method for would be timeline. We generally just sing the timeline song for reviewing that. And for geography, we'll use our pointers. Our kids love to use these, but we'll take this to the map on the wall in our homeschool room and we'll say, show me Alabama, show me whatever point on the map you're wanting to quiz. Again, you can use the summary proof sheets to know which things you need to ask and then have the student point to those things. Get ready though, because the pop quiz challenge goes both ways. It's very fun for the students to push it back to the parent or a tutor or a sibling or friend. That's what makes that game a lot of fun. You can have it done between siblings, but I will say that my daughter really enjoys pop quizzing mom. Okay. The third thing that we do is if you're going on a trip, bring your foundations guide with you and pop open to those proof sheets again, and maybe on a long car ride, give your kids a chance to show mom or dad or someone who hasn't been in class with them all year what they've learned. Kind of gives them a chance to show off a little bit. And in those cases, it's really simple. You just start drilling the questions as they're listed on those proof sheets. So now let's get into some review games. Our first favorite game is Jenga. I got this from the dollar store. You can get any kind of Jenga, but the key is that once you get it, you want to put on there the subjects. So you can just write like history or Latin. You just write all the different subjects all over the pieces, but be sure to include some fun ones. Like here, I've included a dance party. I think I have on here, make a silly face or do 5 jumping jacks. So you include some fun things in there, but mostly you want to get all those 7 subjects, and then you play the game of Jenga. When they pull out a tile, they've got to tell you the subject, and then you ask the question for that subject, and then they place the block back on top of the Jenga stack without knocking it over. So get yourself a Jenga set, big or small, write on those tiles the different subjects with some fun things in there, and you've got yourself a great review. Game number 2 is bingo. Bingo is a great way to review many subjects in one setting. This from CC Connected, and I'll link it below, but you can print them all out from home, and then you can use what you want. You could use candy for your tokens, you could use tokens, you can put this in a sheet protector and use dry erase markers. There's lots of ways to make it fun, but bingo is another really fun game. The next game is a picture storyboard. So get out your big whiteboard or whatever whiteboard you have, and you take your foundations guide and you just go through any number of weeks that you've chosen to review, and on your turn you're given a question. You can answer it by yourself, or if you need help, the group can help you. But since it's your turn, once the question is answered, you get to add one element to the storyboard, whether you add a picture of a sun or a drawing of a flower or a superhero or a cloud, or you name it. On their turn, every time a question is answered, that person gets to add to the picture whatever one item they would like to add. At the end of that review session, you have a whole picture story, and it's super fun for the kids to then take a step back and look at the whole picture that they've all been a part of adding to and see the story that it tells. So that is another great way to review. The next thing that we love to do is just take out Play-Doh or coloring sheets, Legos, any of those type of things. And while they do that, build or create with Play-Doh or color, you just drill all the questions that you can get through in that time setting. The next one is simple hopscotch. You can do this inside or outside, but I suggest adding some fun elements to the hopscotch. So in addition to the numbers, skip one every now and then and add maybe where they have to jump on that spot and it says spin around, or do 3 jumping jacks, or try to rub your belly and pat your head. Add some fun elements into the hopscotch along with the drilling of questions. The way that we do hopscotch though is instead of using numbers, you could label the boxes per subject. Like the first box is Latin, the next is a spin, and then box number 3 that would usually have a 3 in it is math. And basically once they get through all the hopscotch boxes and back, then they can pull a prize from a prize box. And these prizes can be something as simple as stickers, a piece of candy, or even dollar store treats. I like to keep those kind of things on hand just as fun rewards sometimes. Okay, now moving on to the game Inchworm. You spin the wheel, answer your question, and then once you do that, you get to pick any of the inchworms that you want to pull out. And the idea is that you pull it until you get to that color on the worm. But the key is that all the worms are different sizes and lengths. So say that I respond to a blue for math. I answered my math question, then I keep pulling this inchworm out until I see its blue color. So I stop there because I got to blue. Now it's the next person's turn. But say that was the end of my inchworm. That inchworm becomes mine. So at the end of the game, you end up with lots of inchworms. The person with the longest is the winner. Super fun game for review. This is one of our favorite games to play, even just for fun, but because it's such a fun game, it's a great game to play for review. Okay, that's inchworm. Next game is subject target shooting. My little target shooter has gone missing, unfortunately, but we usually play where we will put on the whiteboard all the 7 subjects. Then you take your shooter and they are targeting whichever subject they want to answer the questions for. Super fun. The kids usually love this game, and it's a great quick way to get through lots of memory work. A similar game to that would be to take paper plates and write on them all the different subjects. Then you lay these out on the table or the floor, wherever you're playing, and you take out the little frog hoppers that you push on, and the frog hops just like that. And whatever subject it lands on, that's what subject you are answering the review question for. Okay. The next one that is super fun and all kids generally get a kick out of is dress up the parent or tutor. You basically ask questions. When the question is answered, the student gets to add some kind of fun element to you or another parent. until it just gets crazy. So you've got glasses, you've got stickers for maybe weird eyebrows, you've got hats and skirts or coats and scarves. You be creative with all the things you can think of to add, but that is a fun game. So each question is a new thing they get to add. And here are just some fun things that I picked up at the dollar store that are really exciting to use. Different mustaches, noses, whatever you have already in your dress up bin. If you have something like that at home, add those things. And then if you've ever seen those little books that have the stickers in there for creating different faces, those are lots of fun too, because the kids will put those stickers in all kinds of crazy spots. And by the end of that review session, mom's looking kind of crazy or dad's looking crazy, and it's super hilarious. Okay, so the next game is Spot It, or other board games that are like this, but any kind of I Spy game that you can use. And we usually make a chart that is filled out with all 7 subjects, and then I give them little stampers that have little shapes on the bottom. You could even use the dot-to-dot stampers where they're different colors. And basically you let the kids put a stamp in each box as they're able to answer it. I will put in a picture of one of the previous games that we've played like this and what that looks like. But having the chart is a great way for you to say, okay, our goal is to fill up this entire chart. And if they do, they've covered all the subjects and all the weeks, right? And it's fun for them to be able to put their color stamp in a box. That is how we do any kind of I Spy game. So we're looking for this type of thing according to how the I Spy game says it. And once the first person finds that thing, then they get to be the one to answer the question and put their dot in the box. Okay, so that is Spot It. And the last one that I want to mention is another one that comes from CC Connected online, and this is Sequence. It has the ability to be just the first 12 weeks or up to all 24 weeks by the end of the year. All the boxes for every subject and every week all the way through 24 are here. And there are multiple ways to play Sequence, but the main way would be for the kids to say on their turn, I'm going to answer English grammar week 1. If they can say that correctly, then they get to put their token on that spot. The first team or individual to get 7 or 5 in a row is the winner. The rules for this are attached, and I will put the link for where I got this whole resource from down below in the description box. This is probably the favorite game for end of year indoor review, just because it covers so much, this and bingo. But I hope those have been some fun ideas. Okay, so to wrap this video up, the last thing that I want to suggest for end of year fun is to have some kind of a big bash and a carnival type of style. Our CC community actually did this the first year that we were in CC, and it was so fun. All of the tutors were assigned to bring a different game, and we set up around a gym, each of our own games, and then the kids in groups went around to each of the games that we had. And after you answered your question at each station, you got to go back and get some kind of a treat from the basket, whether that was stickers, candy, or a little trinket. Super fun for the kids to collect goodies in their grab bag while answering questions from the entire year. This is something that whether you're in a community or just doing it at home, you could do this even on your own, in your backyard. You could do it in your living room. You can do it with just your family or invite some friends over that are also doing CC and plan a few games. So I would suggest hopscotch, maybe the Sequence. You could even do a balloon toss where you answer the question and you get balloons that you're able to then participate in a balloon toss after you answer each question. Basically, the idea is that at the end of each of these games, you'd get to draw from a little prize basket and collect some goodies with friends while you're having fun answering and reviewing all the things that you have learned for that cycle. These are some of our favorite ways to review. I think that it's so important to be able to recap after each cycle, after each quarter, so that we've got it drilled in for the years to come. I hope this is all helpful. I hope that you've been able to take 1 or 2 tips from some of this. And if you have any questions or if any of this didn't quite make sense, please feel free to shoot me a comment, send me a question, and I'm happy to help. I love sharing in this format and just sharing together as parents. One of our best resources is each other, so please don't hesitate to reach out. That's all for now. I hope to see you guys over the coming months. I'll be sharing other fun homeschool tips that I've gathered along the way. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you later. Bye for now.